Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. Game on. Well, what we've got here is an M12 on the north spawn of Malinovka. It's under the command of ArthVex of OLIMP. And yes, the last replay he sent in, or rather he didn't send in, I actually found and thought that he'd sent it in and did the replay, and unfortunately for me it wasn't one he wanted actually to be put into a video, because he was looking elsewhere when he fired the shell. But in fact, actually now he's going to produce this video for me, and he promises me that it's a good one in terms of what we see and also how he actually plays it. The M12, the Arty based on the M3 hull, has a 155mm howitzer. It's capable of doing 600 alpha. There you go. 39mm of pen, 7.2 meters on the blast radius, between 11.5 and 23 seconds of stun. It also has a standard reload of 26.56 seconds. And in this game, we can see ArthVex has got that down to 21.76, so he's effectively knocked 5 seconds off the reload time. Now, you may have wondered where I've been for the past couple of days. I have been having this flu bug that's been going around. I'm not the only one who's actually had it. It appears that Angelina75 also has it. And oh dear, looks like the T150 accidentally ran into ArthVex, and he's none too impressed. But never mind, no damage done as such, except of course he was upset on his aim. Yes, I've had the flu bug, and I've been virtually horizontal for most of the past, well, 3 days, because I was horizontal over the weekend as well. Rouse out. Landed right next door to him. Yes, it was a very nasty bug, because not only did I feel hot and... Oh, wow! Well, that certainly, that VK4502A certainly felt very hot. He just blew up. That was a shot by the Grom, you can see there. They do have a very powerful gun. Yes, I've actually, I was hot and sweaty all the time, and I didn't have any energy. And the moment I got up and started moving about, I felt like going straight back to bed again because I felt so ill. So yes, oh no, that's bad news. We've actually got an event going on right on top of the hill at the windmill. We've got loads of tanks up there, so they're going to have to move or we're going to lose some. Well, there you go, the aircraft has crashed. Luckily, it didn't kill any of our guys. But look at this Skoda. Well, he moved fast enough in reverse to actually avoid that shell. Okay, the M12 is basically otherwise known as the door knocker. There is a version still actually in existence at Fort Sill in Oklahoma. It's the home of artillery at Fort Sill. And, nice one, 232. It's where they teach young artillerymen in the US Army at Fort Sill, and one of the members of What Arty Noobs actually was an instructor there, so yes, he knows all about the place. The door knocker, the one that's actually there, is called Adolf's Assassin. Direct hit on his rear for T78 there. Yes, what happened is that they all had names, but that one in particular was picked to be the one that would be placed in the museum, probably because it was the either the best one available, or alternatively it was one of the reserve stock that was actually held in America. Only 74 of them actually made it all the way over to Europe. At least I think it was 76. It may have been 76 actually. No, 74 was sent overseas. I was right the first time. But basically, they didn't send all of them. They had to have some to train the crews on. And they only made 100 of the M12. But it was very effective. As I said, it was called the door knocker. and they used it to blow up bunkers. Wherever the Germans actually had a bunker, they would actually bring up the door knocker, and they'd put the gun, because it was a gun, not a howitzer, they'd lay the gun flat, aim it at the target, probably only a short distance away, normally within a few hundred meters of the target, or a few hundred yards, I should say, and then they would literally fire the shell, and it would just carve its way straight through the reinforced concrete and blow it to pieces. Trying to get the Viz 44-1 there. The team are doing rather well at the moment. And I should say as well, ArthVex is doing very, very well, because he's been playing the M12 an awful lot, and he's trying to get his third mark. And I reckon he's getting very close, so he knows he's got to do a certain amount of damage if he wants to get that third mark. Okay, we've got a Chi-2, lots of health, so we can extract that. Rounds out. Went a bit long. Now, there's another thing about this Arty, is it only carries 20 rounds. In actual fact, that's a mistake by Wargaming, you see, because the actual vehicle, although it would only carry a limited number of artillery shells, it actually did have support vehicles which would carry the shells as well. And he's got 277 off that one, hitting the guy in the rear as well. Yes, so they had a vehicle called the T-30. And the T-30 actually was basically the same vehicle, but without the gun. They actually took the gun off and they just stored the shells inside the vehicle. That's a direct hit, and he killed. He got him on the rear, and that shell penetrated. The Grom's trying to tell the Hellcat to move up and get that Chi-2. He's in that copse of trees. There he is. That's the area where he's located. Now, I think we remember we fired a shell at him, but we didn't actually hit him. It went long. The Hellcat's moving up. Okay, that's good. So he might get to spot him. There he is. Okay, right. And he does go down. And in fact, actually, it's the Crom that actually got the kill. So basically, that Hellcat distracted the Chi-2 long enough for him to get the shot. Now, we're going to go for this Cheeto if we can. He's a one-shot to us. If he backs up a bit more, we might be able to... Well, we fired the round in. No, didn't get that one. Okay, we're going to change angle. This actually might help us to get that G2. The risk here is that we're moving back towards the camp area, and the G2 might see us as we change the angle. We might try to get a shot on us as well. There he is. Oh, well, he didn't last very long either, because the SU-8 on our team, the other Arty, actually got the kill. Now, as it was based on the M3 hull, it wasn't particularly fast Arty. Only 38.6 kilometers an hour maximum speed. So, it's not going to win any races, and it's not going to run away from any light tank. There's only 4 vehicles left on the enemy team at the moment. And there's one of them, the KV-2. Line up the shot, rounds out, and direct hit, tracked him as well. We might get some tracking damage here, if we're lucky. I'd like to thank ArthVex for looking at the targets, looking at the shots going in. It's so much better for the Arty players if they can actually see the enemy targets getting struck. Okay, there's one, the buzzer. Okay, quickly aims in. Dialing in. He's got the communications expert skill working for him. Rounds out. Looks good. Lands it next to him for 203. Splash. Well, this is very, very cheeky. Now he's actually crossing the battlefield. You don't often see an Arty do that, even in a winning battle for that matter. But lots of Arty players now do use their W key and they move around. And that actually does help you to get more damage on the enemy. Get closer to them. Yes, the other skill working there is the communication, the concentration skill, which of course comes into effect once you're stationary. So if you're stationary for long enough, then obviously it has an effect. But you see, he lost the communication skill there momentarily. He's got it back now because he's now stationary again. The problem is the arc of this Arty is 14 degrees either side of the center line. So you have to be within that 14-degree arc, or the 28-degree arc in total, for the concentration skill to work. But as soon as you're stationary, then it comes back. And there it's come back again. Well, it appears that we've only got one tank on the other side of the battlefield at the moment. It's an Object 252U, and he's pushing ahead. Oh dear, now that's bad news, but we can still win this. Although it's going to be difficult. It's going to require all of ArthVex's skill, and you can see the 252U wasn't particularly impressed with that. He wasn't happy. He said a rude word. I'm not going to repeat it because there are children playing. But now there's two Arty versus two tank destroyers and an Arty. And so ArthVex is doing the best thing he can under the circumstances, getting ready for getting to a position where he can either ambush the enemy or allow his teammate to spot for him and then get shots. I kind of get the feeling that the enemy is going to make their way across the battlefield thinking they've won this game. It won't necessarily follow. It's 3 minutes 15 seconds left on the clock. It could still be a loss for the enemy, or it might be a draw. But if he's picked his spot correctly, as the enemy crosses the battlefield, they could be spotted, and if they are spotted, he can finish them. Some of those enemy are damaged. The Berser, for instance, is damaged. We don't know about the enemy Hummel, but he obviously will go down very quickly. In fact, the Berser's been spotted, and he knows where we are too. And we do hit him for 202, and we block a shot from the Striv. Our SU-8's gone into protected position. He's being aimed at by the Hummel. We're waiting for the reloads to come in. Here comes the Berser. Now we can still take this guy down. Brief capping by the Striv. They're hoping to get a no-cap kill all. Here we go. Hello. Well, we took most of his hit points away. If he tries to ram us, he could die. He's lost virtually all of his hit points, and now we're going to try. Well, we could push him off the edge there. In fact, that was an armor-piercing round, or heat round from the enemy. And now we've done a complete circuit round the Berser to try and finish off our reload. And we're into the last minute. The Berser's below us, and the SU-8 just killed the Striv. So come on, we can do this. He turns, he faces him, he wants to get behind him. This is exciting. Yes! They've killed off both tank destroyers and left the enemy Hummel all alone against two Artys, one of whom shotgunned at the other end, and whoa, another heat round into the ground. That was a heat round, not an armor piercing. Well, it is armor piercing, a heat round, but yes, it was definitely a heat round. And we now know where the enemy is. He is definitely on the south side of the map, on the east side over. So let's have a look. If we drive directly over there, we should see him. We're reloaded, ready to go. The SU-8's rushing across the battlefield. As I said, it's all about the skill of the player in the end. We can't win by capping unless the SU-8 got in with us, and I don't think he's going to do that in time. But what we can do is we can kill that Hummel by finding him and wiping him out with a shotgun. With only 34 seconds left on the clock, the Hummel's probably going to try and make a stand. We've still got all our hit points. Where are you? There you are! Okay, now the SU-8's gone to the aim. We're going to the aim. Let it settle. He's aiming at us. He's got the top gun, and we fire the round in and get 279, but the SU-8 finishes him off. And that is a win, and a spectacular win at that. Well done, ArthVex. What a great game. What a truly excellent end to that game. It was 2 Arty versus 2 tank destroyers and an Arty, and we still managed to win, or rather ArthVex managed to win alongside his teammate in the SU8. He managed to get an ace tanker out of that game, which is not surprising, really, considering he saved it for his team. And the rest of his team, they were very upset when they saw the Object 252U was killed, and they thought that they were going to get a loss, but they didn't count on 2 Arty players being absolutely stubborn and very, very skilled indeed, because that was a 3rd mark game for ArthVex of OLIMP in the M12. He also got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7. And he got a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. And his win rate from that one, 4,879, which is Super Unicum standard or what? That's a lot more. So let's have a look at team score and see what they did. Well, we can see the highest damage in this game actually went to that Grom. The Grom up on the hill, the one who got the Amarak of the VK right at the start of the game. He got a high caliber of 3,754 hit points of damage. Second highest turned out to be the Object 252U. Unfortunately, he did get killed towards the end of the game, but at least he had 2 guys he could rely on to back him up at the end. That guy got a Top Gun and 3,230 hit points. And the 3rd highest player in the game was one of the Cheetos on the enemy team, who managed 3,156. But I think Scubby Lou, as his name is there, was one of our targets. I'm just checking here now. Did he actually hit Scubby Lou? Yes, he did. It wasn't one that he killed, but it is one that he stunned during the game. One of the ones that ArthVex went after. Going back to the details, we can see the score for ArthVex was 2,309, and that was more than all but 2 on the enemy team, 2 on his own team, which means he was in 5th place when it came to damage. When it came to the SU8 as well, we could say he got 1,011, but it's thanks to ArthVex that he also got some great targets to shoot at, because when it came to kills, we can see the top scorer was the 252U with 6 kills, the Top Gun. 4 kills went to the SU8, and of course that Hummel was a nice, easy kill for the SU8 in the end, because of course he was very badly wounded by ArthVex's shot, and ArthVex just needed the damage anyway. It would have been nice if he could have killed him outright, but as it was, it actually provided another kill for the SU8 out of it. And in 3rd place, we can see the Striv S1 and the Lorraine 15550 on the enemy team both got 3 kills. God knows how the Striv actually managed to allow the SU8 to get the kill shot on him, but it must have been a fairly good shot at fairly close range, because he was in the forest and he had to see the Striv in order to get a shot on him. So I reckon what he did is he must have moved forward to the tree line, seen where the guy was, pulled back, and then lobbed a shell at him when he could still see him to wipe him out. Let's have a look at the number of the base XP, and that's ArthVex's 1,449. Second was the 252U with 1,249, and 3rd was the Grom with his high caliber of 1,108. So 3 players made it over 1,000 base in the game, and in 4th place, look at that, it's the SU8 as well, so he deserved that. 4th place, didn't get over 1,000, but at least he was up there. And let's have a look at detail. 18 shots fired, so he only had 2 rounds left, but he made those last rounds really, really good fun, because he was chasing the enemy around the mound. I thought for a second if that enemy I think it was the Cheetah, wasn't it? Or was it the Bulls? I'm trying to remember which one he wiped out. It was the Berser, that's it, right? I thought the Berser was going to come off the top of the hill and try and swan dive onto him to try and wipe him out. But he was so low on hit points, he probably realized that if he did do that, then more than likely he would actually die and the M12 would stay alive, because after all, we know that ArthVex still had all of his hit points at that point, so there was no chance of him wiping out ArthVex with a swan dive. But it would have been funny if he had tried to do that, because he would have made a big mistake. As it was, what we had was ArthVex chasing him around the hill. It's not often you see an Arty chasing a tank destroyer around the place, and it's rather hilarious when it does happen. But it was a lovely shot right up the rear of the Burza to finish him off and get him out the game. Going back to the details, 10 direct hits on the enemy, none of them penetrated. The shot on the Burza was actually into the guy's rear, but it didn't go through. It just so much hit points. That 600 alpha is so big, even with a non-penetrating shot, it's 300. And the Burza didn't have that, so that's why it was a kill. You got 16 splashes as well. 2,309 hit points of damage, of which 1,567 were at more than 300 meters. You can see the amount of damage he did at fairly close range. One hit received, it was a non-penetrating shot. That was in the strip. He aimed very, very badly, and he missed getting a penetrating shot. I think he might have actually hit the gun as well. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and 3,105 hit points of stun assist off 13 stuns. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of 103,545 credits to that game, including a 50,000 mission completion bonus. And he also picked up 6,520 experience points altogether as well. And the battle lasted 14 minutes, 53 seconds. So the only 7 seconds left on the clock before it became a draw. But yeah, they managed to find the Hummel and they finished him off. What a great game that was. So pleased that the first game we get back after this break, and you can probably hear it in my voice that I'm not 100% still, but it's such a good game by ArthVex. And I apologize for doing his replay the last time and he kept looking away, but he certainly did produce a fantastic video this time because he kept looking and we got to see his skill in action. 2 Arty facing the enemy and they win. What a great game. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.